25 million women live in states with a near total abortion ban or tighter restrictions with little to no choice. But this week, a new milestone was reached for reproductive rights. The FDA approved the first over-the-counter birth control pill available in the United States, marking a revolutionary change for women nationwide. Meanwhile, Republican-led states are tightening their grip on abortion bans. Iowa now marks the 12th state to ban abortion at 6 weeks, a time when most women don't even know that they are pregnant. Yesterday, Republican Governor Kim Reynolds signed the bill into law.
I convened a special session of Iowa's General Assembly to once again address the most important human rights cause of our time, protecting unborn human lives from the atrocity of abortion. A worthy battle, and one I will never concede.
Joining me now is Dr. Emily Bavers, an OBGYN practicing in Waverly, Iowa. Dr. Bavers, I'm grateful for you to join the show today. This is a really important conversation as Iowa has now joined the ranks of several other states for the 6-week abortion ban. Specifically for the women in Iowa, what does this pose for them in terms of challenges towards reproductive freedoms? And I also wanted you to focus as a physician on how misleading the title or the NOMR, quote, fetal heartbeat bill is, because a lot of people think, oh, if there's a heartbeat, then maybe that makes sense. But it's actually misleading to use that phrase, right?
That's correct. Well, the impact of this ban on our patients is going to be immediate and severe. Again, as it said in the segment, a lot of women don't even know at 6 weeks that they are pregnant. If they have found out, it's because they missed a period that was usually very regular. But many of our patients don't have regular periods for a number of reasons, including the use of contraceptives like oral birth control or an intrauterine device, and the failures that can be associated with those. Talking about this as a fetal heartbeat bill is misleading because this is an embryonic stage of pregnancy and the heart is not fully developed. The heart is not functioning in the way that people think of when they think about life. This is still a very early pregnancy that is far from viability. And so I do disagree as a medical expert in women's health with the idea that this very, very early pregnancy should be prioritized over the choices and the reproductive freedom of the mother.
So, Dr. Bavers, what are now going to be the available options for women with this 6-week abortion ban in Iowa? Are they going to have to go to surrounding states? I mean, it's not like there's a lot of opportunities to be able, especially if you're financially strapped, to be able to try to go somewhere else to be able to obtain an abortion.
That's the exact issue at stake here, is that the women who are going to be most affected by this bill may not have the resources, whether it be financially or the time available to travel to another state. These women are already here in Iowa forced to take 2 days because of a 24-hour waiting period. The people who are going to be most adversely affected by this ban are the people who are the lowest resource among us. I find it very unfortunate that people who are already very low resource might be forced to carry a pregnancy that they don't feel they can support. And so their options will be to, yes, either find resources, time, money, and support to travel to another state. Or my real fear is that women will take matters into their own hands and we will return to a medical situation similar to that before Roe, when women became very ill from abortions that were attempted in an unsafe manner.
Dr. Emily Bavers, thank you again for getting us started this morning and as we talk about Iowa's new 6-week abortion ban. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you for the opportunity to share this news.